What is up, everybody? Welcome back. It is time. We are in the second to last round in the pods. You guys just finished watching Vicente Reyes versus Kevin, where Kevin was able to take it 2-0 over Vicente, and now we have a treat. One of my favorite decks of the BT7 format, we have Cherubimon coming on down, being represented by Daniel versus Sebastien, which we've had the pleasure of casting twice now, Steven and I.
He's been able to fight through the gauntlet of two different blue hybrid decks, but is now fighting something that's not blue. It's actually yellow and purple, as Daniel is, according to Huang, correctly playing the yellow-based version of Cherubi.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit
right.
about what the benefits of playing the yellow-based version of Cherubi are, for those that might not know.
So the benefits of playing the yellow-based Cherubi is, number one, by far, the fact that you have sustain and longevity. You aren't going to get rammed in by blue hybrid because, you know, they freeze your Eismon, or they freeze whatever purple card you got going on. But then with the yellow base, we get that healing, that sweet recovery, right? Not only that, we have access to Bushi Agumon lethal, so you pop your Pinata, Cherubimon, pop, summon 3, Bushi Agumon goes hard. And then you also have Cutemon stopping Beowulfmon, Jet Sylphimon, Aldemon, whatever level 5 hybrid you want to get out, right? So, yellow Cherubimon, really packing in the utility, that toolbox, you know, that good stuff. And it also gives you the ability to play Blinding Ray, which, as we know, is a busted card.
And for those at home who couldn't follow the frantic train of thought that Huang went down, if you guys don't know, Cherubimon is a really powerful level 6 Digimon that has a really powerful on-deletion effect that says when it dies, for every tamer you have in play, you can play any color of level 3 Digimon from your trash for each one, and because of that, you have the ability to use a toolbox of different powerful cards. The yellow-based version utilizes the powerful yellow rookies, as well as the powerful purple hybrid package to just have a nice, consistent flow going up to your Cherubis, maximizing your tamer count, and then, of course, maximizing the amount of rookies you can play. I would say the most ideal one isn't purple, isn't yellow, it's Bokomon, as that sets up a ton of advantage for you after going for your Pinata pop, as Huang puts it.
Listen, I thought you were about to shill purple-based Cherubi, and I started making fun of you on stream and everything, but then you said Bokomon, so it's totally fine.
That comes later when the Salamon inevitably doesn't die to security, and playing multiple Lucimons is a more ideal form of recovery, but we'll get there when it matters. For now, let's hop into the game.
Well, the game's still loading, but...
well, let's, while we wait for the game, talk more about Cherubimon then.
Yeah, so statistically, Salamon actually, funny enough, has a 54% chance to die to security if you're playing against, the average blue hybrid list. So you're higher than a coin toss, actually. I'm just saying.
Huang, I can't stress this enough to you today. Math is not my friend, so you trying to use math to convince me of something and the beautiful people at home, I think, means nothing. So, what do you say we check out the game and see who is starting us off? Based on my theories, Sebastien is going first, and I am correct. He is hatching his egg, revealing Kiaramon, and probably just going to go into EX1 Gabumon and follow it up with a Tamer to pass the turn.
Yeah, I'd imagine that Tommy's just going to come on down at this point. Although, obviously it can change based on what he topped. Sora Joe. Okay.
I mean, if you're Daniel, that's just free real estate for the hand you currently have, correct?
I mean, yeah, like, what is Sora Joe gonna do to you?
I mean, you go like, dude, if he draws a second Koichi, he already has the Lucimon with the Koichi. Love it.
So that is a one of Lucimon. And we will see the yellow Upamon being revealed. So yellow-based supremacy coming on out from Daniel, and the Koichi is going to come. There's the Bushi. This is an amazing setup. Wow.
And he can even play the mat to bring back that Kaiser Leomon, so he's not actually losing any cards, and he's guaranteeing 3, whereas Sebastien might not always have 3 memory, because a fun thing about Cherubimon is you play a lot of cards like Deathclaw or Calling from the Darkness that can kill your own Digimon, and so it's really easy to play around cards like Sora and Joe.
This is very true. Yeah, so actually maximizing the amount of cards he's able to retain in his hands, very, very good play coming out from Daniel right there. And now, what's up?
I was just going to say, and now we have both Boko and Lucy, so even more Koichis now will just be setting up his trash for the inevitable Cherubimon pop that gets those cards back into play for free.
Right. And so coming on to Sebastian's side of the board, we do see the Bond is now in his hand, but no Matt at the current moment. He could play a Tommy. He could just set up Tommies. He could also Digivolve into the Lobomon and then swing, being able to check top 3 with the EX1 Gabumon and Source skill, which it does seem like to be the case. That's what we're going to go for. Totally acceptable play. Draws into another Bond. I don't think he would go into 2 Bonds during the game. Very unlikely.
I mean, it's not a like, if he gets like multiple mats, a bunch of Sora Joe procs, because like obviously the Cherubimon will play the rookies without sources, so it's totally possible that he has like 2 Gabumons, 2 mats, and 7 memory plus. So you could just go into 2 if you wanted to like finish off a game. We've seen that play happen a ton of times in set 6 and EX1, but it's not super likely. I would have loved to have seen a Davis come out of this EX1 Gabu, by the way. That would have been huge.
I don't foresee Sora Joe giving enough memory over in order to do that kind of play, just because Cherubimon is more than likely not going to have anything on board to be... Wow, to Koichi.
I called it. Oh, dude, Koichi multiple is going to be so disgusting
wow.
here. And he has a second Deathclaw, too.
All right, so there goes the Lucimon. That is the freest discard you have. But yeah, just like I was saying, I really doubt that he's going to have anything like staying on the board for Sora Joe to be capitalizing on. Because, Rihimon, you're able to, sort of get that loop going. Play Rihimon for 1, get that cycle, pop Rihimon, play the Koichi, gain a memory, all sorts of shenanigans, right?
Do you commit the Boko here just to give up the memory with Sora Joe? I don't think you do. I would say the Analog Youth top deck here is really fortunate because you can play that and then evolve Kaiser Leo after.
Hear me out. What you can actually do is you can play Bokomon. You can swing Bushi, and Bushi probably dies because it's actually, does Bushi die? Bushi may or may not die. If Bushi doesn't die, it's actually totally fine. But let's say Bushi doesn't die, right? Let's say Bushi doesn't die, okay? And so you play Bokomon, you go to 0, and then you can just Deathclaw the Bokomon to deny the Sora Joe value. Lock your opponent to 1. You see where I'm coming from, Steven?
But then you can't play Rihimon.
Why can't we?
Because we'll go from 2. Sorry. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Do you mean Kaiser Leomon?
No. We'll go from 3 to 0 to from 0 to 0 off evolving here, and then if we end our turn with Deathclaw, we pass over 1, so we cannot go into Re if we had it. We obviously don't have it, but if we did, that line of play might have been riskier.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about like how.
And then we still pass over we end the turn because we play Deathclaw here, and that passes over 1, killing the Boko, right? So we can't go Rihimon.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, so you don't mind not going into Rihimon here, is what I'm saying.
He doesn't have a Rihimon.
Well, what if he did? If you commit the Boko, you either give up the memory and go for Rihi, which I don't think is ideal, or you don't go for Rihi and you choke 1.
Why are we talking in hypotheticals?
Well, because that's what he was going for, because he didn't have it in hand. He had to hypothetically think what the best play was. What do you mean why are we talking about hypotheticals?
What? Okay, anyway.
I don't think the play was wrong. I'm just saying I like going for Rihimon as soon as possible in this matchup. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, if he hits the Rihimon, then then the line of play obviously
then changes, it's staggering. Then it's different. And then he gives up 3 memory, which doesn't feel that great.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have gone into the Rihimon no matter what, to be honest. I would have committed to this play regardless, frankly.
Probably, but then you still lose the Boko. I like keeping Bokos in play.
This sounds like a you problem, Steven. It sounds like a you problem.
I just have my own opinions when I play Cherubimon, but I think Daniel played it perfectly given the cards he had.
I think Daniel did very well in that play. Yeah.
I'm just saying it wasn't an obvious play. There were other lines to consider. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay, Steven. Okay. Well, really showing who the superior Cherubimon player is. But I digress.
I mean, you've never played it in a tournament. I did. I don't know what to tell you about that. So I have actual proof that I've played it. You just talk about it all the time.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to call people out right now, we can call people out right now. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So anyway, he actually did. I think he actually hit the Matt Ishida in the security, so setting himself up for success in the future. Yeah, but unfortunately he doesn't have a Gabumon. He doesn't have a level 3. We are going to strip away the Kaiser Leomon source. We're going to strip away that Koichi with Sora Joe, so he will be able to Digivolve into another Korikakumon if he wishes, in order to freeze out that Kaiser Leomon. That's pretty
well,
solid,
actually, it's already frozen because of Tommy Himi's effect.
Oh, you're right. Definitely 100% right.
And getting rid of that Koichi is big too, because if it does go into a Rihimon on the next turn, it makes it that much easier to get rid of the source and turn off potential analog youth memory, which does come up a lot, especially when the memory is so tight in this matchup. Like
Right.
every little memory counts for purple Cherubi all the time, but especially against blue. Like being sure to do the most during your turn and limit the most that they get during their turn is really big. But here we're seeing a great analog youth here, potentially putting Cutemon and or Gazimon in the trash to get them to be called back later. Seeing the Gazimon's actually interesting. Not a lot of Cherubimon players who go for the yellow base actually play it. Because it's not a yellow rookie, and so you have to like always trash it, and it's like another card like Boko or Lucy.
So top decking into the Rebellion is actually really, really fortunate here, because otherwise the only way he would be able to deny the Sora-Jo would have been through a Death Claw. So this is actually very, very fortunate for him to draw into this. This also means that Korikakumon is, actually, he has Tommy Sora-Jo, so Rebellion's just going to get frozen out, but then Cherubimon can come on down and then smite away the board. So, regardless, actually really, really good stuff coming out. He does draw into the Rihimon as well. That can potentially, Digivolve for 1 if he were to draw into a level 4 hybrid, right?
Also, he gets to recycle, trash the mat, which on the next turn he can bring back with Cherubi's on Digivolve effect to play a Purple Tamer, and then bring back either that level 4 champion that he just milled with Analog Youth Loamon, or he can bring back the Deathclaw and have another way to kill his Cherubi himself before actually attacking or after attacking with it.
Yeah, I definitely... See, this makes me think, like, imagine if Antilamon was playing any Purple Tamer from your trash, and not specifically 3-cost.
Yeah, 3-cost
Tamer, right?
I mean, getting a free Koichi is nice. I still would prefer Rebellion plus Rihi as the only level 5s.
Yes.
But it would, like... Yes, it would, like, turn my eye. But to be fair, in the yellow one, it's harder to get Matt in the trash specifically, because the only real way you have to do it is Koichi and Analog Youth or Rebellion, and... you have better targets for those discards. So if you were to play like a purple version of Cherubi, you could play cards like Ipmon or Pagumon and get blind mills. Again, I'm not saying it's strictly better, but there are benefits to doing it.
Are you actually playing Ipmon? I don't believe that.
Oh, 1,000%. 4 of it.
Really?
And the starter deck Pagumon that mills 2, so when it dies, you mill 5. And guess what? If it doesn't, you play 3 Deathclaw, you kill it, you kill something else, and you mill 5 anyway. And then you mill a Tamer and like 2 Lucamons and a Pokemon, and it's great. And I can talk for a really long time, too, about how awesome Cherubimon is, Hwang. You're not the only one.
Let the record show Steven wasn't playing 3 Deathclaw before talking to me today. So
I was playing Calling and Deathclaw too, so that's still 3 ways to kill it. And right now I'm playing 3, and that's what matters. And that's what matters.
Okay. Whatever helps you sleep at night, I guess. So anyway, Cutemon is going to swing into the security. It does hit the BT1 Gabumon, so Cutemon will actually end up surviving here, which is really huge. Oh my gosh, wow.
Well, yeah, it's fine, because you can attack with it again next turn, and you already have more than enough good rookie targets in trash. Like, I think Double Boko, Lucy, and Bushy are already in there, plus the Gazi, which are all great and all available. We are bringing the mat back thanks to Cherubi's effect. That will kill both of these level 4 or lower Digimon on Sebastian's board due to the on-Digivolve effect. And he is bringing back the Kaiser Leo, which will allow him to evolve into a Rihimon potentially in the next turn, on top of all the shenanigans that I'm sure will ensue once the Cherubimon Pinata does pop. Do you think lethal is an option for Daniel at this point? Probably. Double Boko plus double hybrid in hand potentially could definitely do it.
Yeah. This looks like a very clear line of... Well, let me think. So Cherubi swing, Cute swing, Rihi swing. Bushi's in trash. Yeah, there's lethal here. There's lethal.
Wouldn't you wait until after you pop to play the Rihimon, so that way you can get the Bokos?
Yeah. I'm not saying what order you should do. I was just counting how many attacks
I see. Yeah. And then you get the Bushy back plus the Boko.
Right.
You would need one more hybrid in hand, which is easy.
Do you?
Yeah, because you only have...
Assuming Cutemon doesn't die?
Oh, true, you're right. I thought he was at 4 for some reason, not 3.
No, he's at 3. Yeah, he's representing lethal at the current moment, and he's at 1 memory because Cherubimon,
has a source.
Him. Yeah, it has a source. So unfortunately, Sora-Jo isn't able to proc. He would have to commit a Hammer Spark plus swinging in order to prevent lethal in this current situation.
But that doesn't even get rid of Cherubimon, because Bond cannot tuck level 6s, and that's really all he needs to still have lethal afterwards, especially if he potentially draws an Analog Youth, because you can just play Analog Youth first before you do anything and mill another Bushy, which happens all the time.
Yeah, definitely a lot of explosive potential. And I'm just saying, lethal wouldn't have been possible without that Bushy.
But is lethal even needed? You can just bring back triple Lucamon, go to 6, and never die.
What's stopping you from just healing in a regular yellow base?
Salamon not dying?
Okay, Steve.
And also, Lucamon can become Lucamon Chaos Mode if you play it in the purple version of Cherubi, which can also just kill this mat if it's the only one his opponent has, and completely turn off Bond from ever doing anything. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying there are benefits to both, and Cherubi is wonderful and should unite all purple players around the world. See, Huang, I want to include, not exclude.
No, we are here on a mission. I'm playing.
We are here to preach one way of living life and no other ways.
Listen. One of these decks lets me Blinding Ray and the other doesn't, so...
You know what? That is... Honestly, Blinding Ray is cracked in this deck. It is
Blinding
disgusting.
Ray is
I believe Daniel's playing
crazy.
2, right?
I can check real quick.
Especially with the Kari, too. The Kari is the big one. Like, Kari plus Blinding Ray makes it disgusting.
Yep. There is double Blinding Ray.
And then we saw the Korikaku swing at a security
Wait, it swung at
Sorajo.
security?
Yeah, and then Sorajo got rid of the source. Oh, no, it's swinging at Cutemon, sorry. And then Tommy is freezing the Cherubi here because he used Sorajo.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is the one annoying thing sometimes about the blue hybrid matchup is they can freeze your Cherubi, so that way you're forced just to kill it instead of getting the value of attacking. Right. But like losing the value of the swing plus that is annoying. It's annoying.
Right.
It's not game ending.
What's that one purple card on the far right? What purple option is that? Can you pronounce that for me?
It's on the far left, and it's Deathclaw. And I know it's there. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
not Deathclaw. The other one.
Oh, in the middle. Shavar's Thersades.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can play that too.
Card.
You can recycle that card. That's pretty fun.
Listen, I'm just saying, if hypothetically Sebastien were to commit to the board, he could just potentially get board wiped there and lose a lot of tempo going forward.
I mean,
it looks like Gabumon swung. It did hit a Salamon, so Gabumon actually is going to go down.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, for Sebastian's deck specifically, the only thing that isn't Cherubi poppable is Bond. So, I mean, it's very possible that if Daniel pops the Cherubi, gets back double Boko, he could just go into another Cherubimon, which happens all the time. So that'd be enough to board clear if he did commit. But he's just going to go Tommy with the Korikakumon already established. We can just kill that with Deathclaw, so it's just free real estate.
Yeah, this is absolutely a fantastic position to be in if you are Daniel at the current moment. Are you like? I guess you could quote unquote be afraid of double hybrid, triple hybrid lethal, but you're really not. I don't think that's a realistic fear for you to have.
Yeah, the Sorajo will probably inevitably proc now because you're going to be committing a lot of things without sources. But let's think about really if lethal's on the table here. Bushy, he only has 1. We know he didn't gain any more, so that's 2 security. He has the 3 purple tamers, and he is getting double Boko potentially here. So if he gets at least 1 more, lethal is more than on the table. So I think the ideal grab here for these 4 is Gazi, Boko, Bushy, right?
I think there's an argument you grab Lucemon, but it's probably Gazimon. Yeah, it's probably
because you want to prevent the Hammer Spark.
Right,
security.
Exactly. Oh, he actually goes for the Lucemon. Actually,
I think this guarantees safety. So like even if he doesn't kill this turn, he guarantees next turn.
I think either play is fine, although I probably would have revived the Gazimon, given that at 3 memory, which shouldn't be too difficult for you to choke at, your opponent has no way to kill you from that position, because there's double hybrid is not enough. You're not afraid of Gabumon coming out. Oh, there's a Blinding Ray! Alright, so this is for the Bokumon effect. Bokumon will...
so he gets the hybrid he needs, so he would have had enough attacks this turn to win, because he gains... actually, would he... Yeah, so it's 1 free, and then he goes to 4, 2 more. Yep, it would have worked out.
Yeah, it would have worked out.
So, but, you know, like, that's the thing about Cherubi, is you're gaining so much outright advantage here that Lucemon is more than enough to make sure you don't die anyway, and Gazimon is just a way for you to win this turn, and Sebastien isn't the one that plays Absolute Blast, but there are some random removal spells that can come up. He does have Rattlestar, but Daniel doesn't know that, but we do, which is nice.
we the casters know.
And then we saw the Calling from Darkness, by the way, which is a super awesome card. Probably like the generically best way to kill Cherubi because it doesn't require anything on your opponent's board to like gain a lot of value from.
Neither does Deathclaw.
Well, what I'm saying is you will always maximize the effect of Calling from Darkness regardless of what your opponent has versus like Deathclaw.
Sora Joe coming on down. That's kind of dangerous, actually.
That is the 4th tamer.
Now it's a lot more realistic about triple hybrid lethal coming on down, right? Because he didn't revive that. He didn't revive Gazimon. Actually, no. Triple hybrid lethal is not enough because he healed 1. So
yeah, it would be 4, but the double.
It would have to be quad. Yeah.
Okay. 7 plus Hammer Spark is quad because that's 8 memory.
But he only has one hybrid in his hand, so it's very unlikely he's able to find.
Davies could just grab one right here.
Okay, then he would have to grab another two.
I mean, they draw when they digital.
He bought Dex 1. He bought Dex 1 right there.
It sounds like you're rooting for Cherubi here and not throwing out all the possibilities for Sebastien to come back in this game.
I no bias. Zero bias. Definitely not biased.
Definitely not. Chad, do you believe him? I don't think I do.
I 100% not biased. I would never be biased. I am a good pool noodle, all right? Anyway, yeah, so we will see the Kaiser Leomon come on down. Actually, isn't this lethal? He just has lethal.
No, I believe they already did the second check. Wait, why did they do 3 damage? I'm confused, actually. Wasn't he at 3? Swing, swing, swing. Did we do math wrong? Was he at 3 and not 4 or something?
He was at 3.
We were saying if Gazimon comes out, Hammer Spark can't prevent lethal. Yeah. It was always lethal, but Hammer Spark could have stopped it. If Gazimon was in play, that wouldn't happen. Obviously, lethal was always there, but the most non-risk way of doing it was via Gazimon. Was the point that I was trying to make.
Wait, I'm doing math in my head right now. Wait.
So it was always 4 attacks. It was always 4 attacks if he has the 3 hybrids in hand with double Boko, but it wasn't guaranteed without Gazimon. Was my point.
So it's you start at 3, you declaw for 1, you go to 2, you revive double Boko.
You gain 2 more after evolving into your first hybrid. Bushy plus hybrid is 2 attacks. You have 4 memory, 2 more.
Yeah, that is
right. But he didn't have the 3rd hybrid in hand, and it wasn't guaranteed if Hammer Spark was in the security. Was the point of Gazimon? Gazimon was guaranteed lethal. Guaranteed lethal.
I'm just saying, you know who made that possible? Bushi. Anyway,
but we also know it didn't have to be possible. Like he didn't need to win that turn. If he just recovered 1 more, it was no loss ever. So a second Lucemon would have guaranteed it too.
Okay, but regardless, going into game 2, some adaptations that I want to see is I definitely want to see. Well, obviously a better starting hand coming out of Sebastien.
Yeah, he loves drawing all of his bonds in his hand. They all just chill there all the time.
That wasn't a really ideal starting hand, unfortunately, for Sebastien. But nonetheless, I definitely do think that Blue still has like an isolated bubble situation where you're not involving player skill. Blue does have a little bit of an edge because of the amount of freezing that you can do versus Cherubimon in general, regardless of the color of Cherubimon.
Oh, 1,000%. Yep.
But given the fact that Daniel has so many different ways to self-pop his own cards, I wouldn't... as long as he sees his declaws are calling from the darkness, I wouldn't be too worried about those kind of issues.
And then from Daniel, I really want to see just like a continuation of what he was doing in game 1, just maximizing the amount of good targets in his trash, getting as many tamers in play as quickly as possible, prioritizing an early Cherubimon so that way even if it gets frozen, he can still get tons of value given the board state they were in. Imagine if that Cherubimon was frozen and he needed it to attack to finish the game versus having 4 tamers in play, right? So definitely a very key thing is to maximize tamers first and then go for Cherubimon after when it's the best time to do so. Very technical thing to do, I think, correctly when playing Cherubi.
I actually want to see Sebastien go first this game. I actually think Sebastien needs to hit the gas pedal and try and get that aggro going. I want him to get the first attack in. I want to see that adaptation coming through this game.
Yeah, the only real situations I find myself being scared as a Cherubimon player is when my opponent is presenting lethal very quickly. When I only have like 1 or 2 tamers in play and no sign of a Rihimon being established, that is when I am my most terrified because Cherubimon, like climbing up to him in a single turn is very expensive. Like even if you have like a Boko in play, most of the time you can't do it without passing turn. And if your opponent already has lethal and you can't kill anything with Cherubi's on play on digital effect, that's just it. You're just lost because you don't have as many good targets in security that can save you unless you have like Kari established already, which is hard to do when you're already behind by being aggressed, right? So definitely want to see Sebastien, like you said, hit the gas pedal, be as aggressive as possible, and I believe Sebastien agrees with us as he's going first. Or did Daniel just pass? Wait, I'm confused. Why is there 3 memory at the start of this turn here?
I don't think they already said it from the last game, maybe. Or maybe it just starts at 3. I'm not sure how it works. I don't know the specifics. I'm not a programmer.
They both have fine opening hands, so obviously there would be a play no matter what. I very much doubt either player would just choose to pass. So they're probably just like figuring out who's going first. They're going to set everything correctly afterwards. It's going to be no big deal. The training wheels are still on for this simulator, so we're still figuring it out, as you guys can tell, throughout today's championship.
All right. So, looking at the current situation of the hands, right?
Yeah.
And I believe they're on the screen at this point.
Yep.
We do see 4 Gabumons coming out of the side of Sebastien, whereas Daniel has 3 Tamers. Definitely not a bad position to be whatsoever in either player's shoes, as you previously said. I think a very good turn 1 play potentially for Sebastien could be Digivolving into EX1 Gabumon and raising, and then playing Drabu or playing the Tommy. That'd be a really solid start. Whereas on the side of Daniel, he can either go for the mat, choke to 1, or he could look to set up the Koichi and then play the mat and say, hey, I'll give you 4. I don't think you can do anything.
True. I think it's less punished as the Cherubimon player just to commit the Koichi, especially given that you have a second mat already in hand, and you can like set up for a potential Rihi loop of mats, which is always exciting because if you guys don't know, on deletion, Rihi can play a purple tamer from your trash, and oftentimes you can play the same mat you discarded earlier to just recycle that Rihimon and add it back to your hand and just keep going and going as long as you have more level 4 hybrids.
Right.
And that's oftentimes a way to actually get aggression against blue hybrid decks, too, because if Rihi doesn't die, it's just like, okay, what are you going to do about it? He just has value when he dies. Are you going to kill it, or are you just going to let me attack with it again?
I definitely think that just overall in the grand scheme of things, I really do want to see... I want to see the Gabumon come out. I want to see, because I haven't tested Cherubi into Gabumon a very significant amount, so I'm actually very curious to see how that ends up panning out, how the Gabumon interacts with the Cherubimon matchup.
I don't think the bulk of how you play out the match is much different. It's just the ending of the games. But we did get a solid reset here, and it's looking like Daniel's going first, committing the Koichi and passing 3. Maybe there's like a misclick and he wasn't able to play it, and they're like, I can't interact anymore. That's my bad. So they probably just to reset it. The hands are the same. We're good to go.
Yeah, so he does end up going turn 1 Koichi. He draws into the Schwartz, and you choose what to discard at this point. You can, the world is your oyster. I think all of these are valid to discard.
Did he forget to discard? Maybe he was like thinking about it and like failing to click on it, and Sebastien just like started his turn. Everything in the simulator is manual, so if you don't like make it clear what you're doing, people might go a little bit ahead of each other on certain things. But I feel like they're going to correct it once it goes back to Daniel's turn.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be corrected. Regardless, we do see the Lobomon digivolving over the EX1 Gabumon in the raising area, and then Drabu is going to come on down, allowing Sebastien to draw an additional card. He draws into the mat. Okay, that's really good.
Very good timing, actually. He's not punished by promoting this Lobomon while already having a mat in play, so that means next turn he can promote freely and then get ready to cycle a second copy. And there we see him correcting, discarding the mat. I think the ideal discard as well. And now we're starting the game proper, drawing Bushy Agumon for turn, hatching that Upamon now that we have a yellow card to evolve into. There's really no point in hatching them unless you have like a turn 1 Blinding Ray or something. And then you go Bushy, draw.
Hey, Blinding Ray!
I am Psychic. Yes, hello. Yes, there it is. We could see him play that this turn, honestly, just to get the choke with the mat. I would not hate to see it.
Is it a choke if you give him 2?
That means he can only play 1 card probably. And there's the Rattlestar.
It's back. It's back in hand.
And Koichi doesn't proc here because it's not being deleted; it's being trashed. And and there's the mat. So you could have mat. Is 4 better than 2?
If you're Sebastien, yeah.
True. But
regardless,
and Matt can't even get anything. If you Blinding Ray and trash a purple card, you could have brought it back. That would have been hot.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think that's a bit much.
Hey, it would have been cool. It would have been cool. Don't say it wouldn't have been cool.
All right, so we do see the Lobomon going in for the swing. It will, with the EX1 Gabumon, check top 3 cards. It's going to add a Gabumon or a blue Tamer. Hopefully he's able to find a Davis on the top 3 cards right here. Reveals 1 Lobomon. Reveals a Gabumon. That is a valid target. And he draws the Tommy.
Tommy,
you already have Tommy in your hand.
No, he has Matt and Tommy.
No,
Yep. Okay. Yep. He has
yeah,
both.
it only grabs one of the cards. Here he has Matt, he has Tommy, so there's no point in grabbing additional Tommy. So he doesn't secure the bond, seeing as he has the BT6 Gabumon already set up.
It
does
Boko.
reveal Pokemon. All right, Lobomon is going to survive. Really good stuff for Sebastian. That Rattlestar was really good tempo as well, by the way. I know we didn't talk about that a lot, but that's really good stuff. Gabumon is going to swing in. Hopefully, it doesn't hit a Tamer for Sebastian's side. It does end up revealing Cutemon, so not a Tamer. Really good stuff.
But Boko and Cutemon going in the trash as Daniel, you're one happy camper, be like, oh, those are just cards I'll probably use later.
Yeah, one side of the coin, you're happy it's not a Tamer if you're Sebastian. On the other side of the coin, if you're Daniel, you're like, yes, Cherubimon targets.
Mm-hmm. And then we see the Strawberrymon coming down to pass Daniel with his 3 memory once he gets the search here. Really looking for any Tamers or any hybrids would all be super valuable. He's just establishing board, gaining resources, simple blue hybrid stuff, or blue Gabumon stuff.
Right, and so being able to play both the Cherubimon and the Mat is actually a really huge tempo swing. We're setting ourselves up for success, if you will. And with, he adds Korikakumon as well as another Mat to his hand, so he's thinning his deck out quite a bit. So really, really good turns coming out of Sebastian. If you're the Cherubimon player, you definitely feel a little bit pressured here, given the fact that, you don't have Rikimon in your hand, so you can't loop anything. You could bring out this Bushiagumon. Bushiagumon is able to swing in if he chooses to. And Rikimon, or Kaiser Leomon, rather, would be able to take out the Lobomon if necessary.
Is this going to be another game where Daniel just never plays Rikimon? That makes me very sad. That's like my favorite card in this entire deck.
So Bushiagumon is going to swing in. It actually does survive because it hits a 2000 DP BT6 Gabumon, so pretty good stuff there. We see Bokomon being committed. He will be able to still Digivolve into the Kaiser Leomon without passing the turn because of the Bokomon. Rihimon is right here. I I feel it. It's a top 5.
That'd be so huge if it was.
Hits the Kari, hits the Bushi.
Because they can choke for 1. And there it was, last card, baby! Last card magic. Good job, Bokomon.
Steven, you thought you were psychic? It's me. I'm psychic.
Well, let's be honest. Bokomon is the real hero here, not us. Not us, Bokomon.
Okay, so he ends up grabbing the Analog Youth and the Rikimon. This is the beauty of Bokomon, the fact that it grabs any Tamer, does not specify a color. So white Tamers are on the table. Being able to Digivolve into the Kaiser Leomon and killing this Lobomon is really, really good.
And then choking at 1 with Rikimon afterwards is even better.
Like, we talked about, this felt like a good turn for Sebastian, but it feels like an even better turn if you're Daniel right now.
Oh, 1,000%.
Kaiser Leomon going right on in, and then I hope we do see the Rikimon. Yep, Rikimon for 1. There it is. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic.
We could have seen the Kochi maybe come down just to get another Tamer for the Bokomon value, but this is just... it's the same thing, basically, because if this Rikimon dies, you just get the Tamer back, and then you do Bokomon shenanigans.
I think choking your opponent to 1 versus giving them 3 memory to work with, definitely Rikimon is the far superior play. Good on Daniel for recognizing that for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and hey, he gets to show off Rikimon for the first time today with us commentating him, so he knew this was special to us. This was special to us. So thank you, Daniel. We appreciate you.
And so, speaking of which, Anchorage Sphinx Spawn's not a very good card. I just had that thought. I don't know why it came up. Yeah, Ancient Sphinx Spawn's not exactly a great card.
Let's just say there's a reason why in the original Digimon Frontier we got Emperor Greymon and Magna and none of the ancient stuff. Because they're all kind of, for lack of a better word, frumpy looking Digimon. And I don't know. Ancient Sphinxmon would have probably scared me as a kid. So you know what? I'm happy that I never got to discover Rikimon until I was an adult.
Fun fact. If he draws into a Cherubimon, he has lethal on this turn, assuming Bushi dies. Fun fact.
Why would he not end his turn? Oh, Blinding Ray. Right, Blinding Ray. For a second,
I
was like, where's the 4 coming from? But there is no Cherubi, but let's see if he draws it up the Upamon draw. It happens.
No Cherubi.
The one thing that always leads to me losing with Cherubimon decks is not drawing Cherubi. That's the one thing that, sucks.
All right, so... I mean, still, you have to be worried a little bit, right? Because there is Gabumon. It is guaranteed 3 memory on the turn for Sebastian. So that does mean he can Bond. And Bond is lethal. Bond is actually lethal.
But if he commits the purple Kari that's in his hand, he can dodge.
Right, then it will pass the turn.
Or force Hammer Spark. Dodge lethal or force Hammer Spark.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So if he has Hammer Spark Bond, that would be enough to win the game here.
And wouldn't it be guaranteed lethal? Because I don't think there's any cards in Cherubi that could stop a Bond from attacking.
Susano, if he has it. But I don't think
we know he doesn't, and the yellow ones usually don't.
Yeah. I mean, yellow can actually.
Right.
There is valid to play Susano and yellow based, specifically so you don't deck out versus Cherubimon.
Or against yellow hybrid, because that
I
matchup
mean, that's
can
what I meant. That's what I meant
go
to
a
say.
little long.
Yeah.
Fun fact: the pure purple one plays 2. You play 2 of that card. That's fun, isn't it?
Okay. So we do see, unfortunately, there's no Hammer Spark in the hand of Sebastien, so he unfortunately won't be able to do the play of going Gabu Bon and then stopping the Kari in its tracks.
And isn't that just game? Because unless you draw literally Hammer Spark on the Evo of Bond, there's nothing you can do to stop lethal.
Right.
No blockers, no mech. It's just your only out is evolve and pray. So hopefully Sebastien realizes that, and let's see if he gets it.
Yeah, all right, there's the Bond. All right,
Goes
it has
to 0.
It has to be the draw of fate. Right here's the Hammer Spark.
And it is a Sora and Joe. We are sadly just going to see a Gabumon swing, probably tuck the Rihimon, and then the Kari will proc, passing over 1 because Daniel is losing a security card. Kari allows him to tap and gain a memory, which will then pass over the turn. Is there a Koichi underneath that, by the way? That might be another memory.
No, it's
Matt.
Which even then, it's bot deck, so it wouldn't proc regardless.
That is correct. I always forget about that. And it's analog youth,
so,
does not matter.
Yeah.
And he'll just activate the Kari to pass over 1, promote the Salamon, and swing for game. Fun fact, if he didn't have that Salamon, he actually would not have had game because Kari, with only 1 memory, can evolve into a hybrid.
Right, yeah.
But then Blinding Ray, so yeah.
Yeah, Blinding Ray is such a good card.
Even though it wasn't played at all for this match.
it was the presence. It's the presence. But regardless, he draws into the Cherubimon as the final card, and that is going to be the round. It's going in favor of Daniel with 2-0 with Cherubimon.
And I believe that makes both Sebastien and Daniel 1 and 2, and that puts everything on Daniel O, aka Spooky, for the following round. If he can defeat Chung Man and guarantee a 2-1 record, that means they are both going to be moving on to the top 4 of the Digimon English World Championships. Congratulations to everyone who's been playing so far. That was the last showing of Daniel Carreno and Sebastien for this tournament. Y'all played beautifully.
It was absolutely really well played throughout the entire tournament for all the players playing. I know we didn't get the opportunity to commentate over Jesmon, which makes me personally sad because Jesmon's my favorite Digimon. But regardless, it's actually really exciting to see the player skill. Honestly, all the players they were seeing a lot of different lines of plays that we weren't seeing. Really, really good stuff on them. Really happy this is the last time you and I are going to commentate, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really, really happy we can. Really happy we ended this on Cherubi. That makes me personally very, very happy. I am a very big Cherubimon stan. But regardless, I hope for nothing but the best for all these competitors. Like you said, depending on who wins between Chungman and Daniel O, that may decide the entire fate of this bracket. So it'll be really exciting, really exciting.
And I will say for you, as well as all the other Jesmon stans out there, that even though we weren't able to see any of Joseph Reyes' games in the actual sort of preliminary rounds here, he is probably, I believe, guaranteed for top 4 to be moving on later, as the A bracket is already finished, and he's second place over there. So we might see him in the top 4 finals later on, being commentated by Egman and Espira.
Yeah, so as of right now, currently, Brent Sosa, as well as Joseph Reyes.
Yep.
Joseph Reyes, they're the 2 players from Pot A going through to the next round, with Brent Sosa being the first seed and Joseph Reyes being the second seed. So that's Loop and Jesmon, right?
And up for contention for B would be Blue Hybrid, or Blue Hybrid. So we could see a combination of those 2.
Well, no. It's Chungman's guaranteed. Chungman is guaranteed to move on.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So Chungman, so guaranteed Blue Hybrid, and then either Blue Hybrid, Cherubimon, or Gabumon is going to make it. Right, because
they would tie if Chungman wins. That's correct.
If Chungman wins the last round, it is a 3-way tie to see who is the final seed in a Pod B.
Be sure to tune in for the next match, the final match of the second pod for the Digimon English World Championships, being commentated by Louise and Gyro Sean. I have been your true champion, Steven. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Huang, want to say anything before we head to a short break before the next round?
All right. Once again, thank you so much to all the players that participated here today. Thank you so much to Bandai for giving me this opportunity to commentate here. I'm super excited to do this opportunity. I don't get a chance to do this often. I started Digimon barely a year ago. I've been playing since the Japanese format. I never thought I would get to this point where I'm commentating the national championship. My first dip into YouTube was Digimon. I love Digimon. I've been in love with Digimon since I was like 4. Being here today makes me so extremely happy. Thank you again for True Champion Steven being my co-commentator. I could not have chosen a better person to be my co-commentator, right?
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And you know what? You are right. You and I both started around, like, I think it was actually over a year ago, like a year and a half ago at this point. The Digimon is so old at this point. I think we're coming up on a 2-year anniversary pretty soon, too, actually, since the original Japanese version.
My first time playing against Steven in tournament, I beat him in the finals.
Yes, and he did show me the beautiful starter deck or Greymon hype in the original Turbo Red Omni. It was a very fun match, and you were the 3rd time I got 2nd place in a tournament, and that was just frustrating. But you know what? That frustration fueled me to keep playing, and you know what? I'm very grateful for it. Amazing players like
You're welcome.
Inspire me to become better, and hopefully share that knowledge with everyone out there at home. Like Hwang said, it's an honor to be here. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you later.
Peace out, everyone.